So, in order to get from Paris to London, there are a bunch of different ways we can travel, but we chose to go one of the more unique ways, which is by taking the Channel. Now, the Channel is an underground train that travels from Paris to London, and it goes very frequently, almost as frequently as the regular metros do. What was really cool about it, though, was we had to get up super early to catch the first train in to be able to hit everything that we wanted to hit on time. That meant that while we had gone to sleep probably around like 1 o'clock in the morning, we were getting up maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours later to be able to be at the train station in time to be able to travel into Paris. So that's that 45-minute train ride. And then from Paris, we would go all the way to London. But what was kind of cute was at the station, we actually happened to see they had a little train kitty that was kind of by the track area, and they had made a little food bowl out for it, which was really cute. Even though it was, 5:45 in the morning, we were still on the lookout for cats. Once we got to the heart of Paris, we went to Gare du Nord, which was one of the major train stations, to be able to board our Eurostar that would take us all the way up to London.
I feel like I'm in one of those like old-time war movies and like you're hopping on the train. This is really exciting. Yeah, no kidding. We're gonna be taking a train underneath the English Channel. And just like that, we're already off.
While the train itself, it really didn't feel like we're moving all that much. It did start feeling a little bit more like kind of like just the motion of a regular train, just moving at a very high speed, which it was just really cool experience because it was one of our first times on a higher speed train. It wasn't like a bullet train, but it was something that was moving pretty quickly, and it was fun just seeing a bit of the French countryside as we're passing by. It'd be a whole lot of nothing and a whole lot of farm fields with maybe a little small town where you would see like this really old church, probably it was built like the 1800s or something like that. And then there would be nothing, and then you'd see another little town maybe here and there, and then it would be nothing. Eventually, when we got to the actual Channel part, we saw a bunch of different, signs and big fences and everything like that. We didn't really get to see much of the wall of the tunnel. And then once we're in, it was pretty much dark in there for about, I don't know, it felt like 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops. But it was really not too bad of an experience at all. And by the time we were out, it was really fun seeing part of the English countryside and then realizing we were now heading right to London.
Welcome to St. Pancras Station. This actually has a lot of the old Victorian like walls and stuff like that still here, which is really, really cool. And we're heading to figure out where to go for the tube, take us to our place in Whitechapel. So we just pulled out here. You can see they're driving on the wrong side of the road. And right over here is King's Cross Station. The same King's Cross where Harry Potter goes to Hogwarts. That's so sick.
Traveling the tube and the metro became our favorite way of traveling in the cities, and it became a lot of fun. Especially with the tube, they would just simply use your credit card, and you would just tap it in there, and then you would just go on in. And that was as simple as that.
So we're here in Whitechapel, and this is kind of like the area we're gonna be staying in this area. And it's right down the street from the tube station. And it's super cool. We met the guy who is our Airbnb host, and he's one of the nicest guys I've met already at first, and super friendly, super professional, so we're excited to stay here. So after a while of taking the train and all kinds of different things here, we're now officially in the heart of Westminster, which of course is right next to legendary Big Ben. This is Westminster Abbey. We don't have enough time, unfortunately, to go inside today, or probably during this trip, unfortunately. But it's just so cool to be able to see the outside of these places and just the architecture. It's a really cool city. It's nice to see a little bit of home. We actually have a statue here of Abraham Lincoln, which is really cool. Now I could hang around here all day, but right across around the corner here from us is actually the Imperial War Rooms during Churchill's time, where you can get access to them. It's right underneath the Treasury building right here, and some of the bigger government offices here. And then right across from there is the lovely St. James Park, which we're gonna walk through on the way to Buckingham Palace.
St. James Park was such a pretty place. It was completely full of people still, but it was quieter than a lot of the places I've ever been into big cities. And just being able to walk through it, understanding the history associated with the place, it was just something that was truly special.
Such a beautiful park. It's a very crowded park, but it's a very beautiful park. You hear the pigeons. It's so fun that this is in London. It feels like just kind of like a break from the city vibe. Well, you certainly should never feed the animals or feed the birds especially. One of the cool things about St. James Park is that they actually have these parakeets that are in the trees, and they descend every now and then to get food from the hands of visitors here. And every now and then you see them jumping around in there. And sometimes you have wannabe parakeets. Don't ever let pigeons do that to you, my friends. That's disgusting.
And while we were there, we noticed that there were so many things going on by Buckingham Palace. There was a large procession of some band that was going through, and there was a lot of foreign dignitaries, stuff like that. We saw that there were certain country flags. No clue what was happening. We were just there to be in the city. But it was just super cool to see this whole thing walking in the city.
So cool. I'm getting a lot of footage over here, but yes, this is Buckingham Palace. And there have been some things going on, but you can see loads of cool things happening. It's pretty amazing.
Pretty much around this time, though, we were kind of making our way around Buckingham Palace and then trying to find a place to eat. We were exhausted. We were really, really hungry at that point. And it was kind of difficult to kind of figure out what we wanted to do. I know we wanted to try so many different restaurants in London, but I didn't really know where to go. That was the one thing I hadn't really researched, was food. And eventually we kind of decided, let's just look for Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. And we found a place where it was a Gordon Ramsay burger place that was right around the corner from where we were going. And so we're like, fine, let's just go there.
After a lot of walking, we've arrived at our place where we're eating today. Is Gordon Ramsay's street burger. Excited to try it. This looks amazing. I got the idiot sandwich. Sierra got the bay, which has egg on it. It looks really tasty.
I don't remember too much about the food, honestly, for that experience. It was just a really good burger. I think I got like a milkshake or something like that was with it. And it wasn't that big of a milkshake, but that was okay. There were solid choices. I wouldn't necessarily rank them higher than some of the burgers I've had in the past, but they were really, really good.
So this is where we're heading today. Palace Theater to go see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I'm stoked.
Seeing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child has always been one of my bucket list things to do. Actually was in line at the bookstore to be able to get the book when it came out at the midnight release. A lot of people have been kind of divided on it just based on the story and the plot of it. But overall, I'd always wanted to see it. And one of the things I learned was when they brought it over to the United States, they actually shortened the play from its original writing to make it a little bit snappier and easier for the audience. And the other reason is because the play is long. It actually has 2 parts. The first part is, I think it's like 2.5 hours or 3 hours with an intermission. And then you break for like a couple hours and then you watch the second part. I think we started this around 2 and we didn't end it till about like, I don't know, like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Like it took a huge chunk of the day because you're watching this really long production. And many people obviously don't have that time in the United States. So they shortened it, but I wanted to watch the original production. And London is the only place where you can watch the original production. So this was a really cool thing.
So this theater is from Victorian London. And you can kind of tell because of the way the stage is set. We are really high up. It's kind of like a bird's eye view though of the stage. And honestly, we can see everything just fine. But they had these safety railings just to make sure, because it's so steep just coming down the steps. But these aren't bad seats for where you're at. Legroom wise, kind of like right up against the seat. But they even have little things if you wanted to rent binoculars from here. That way you could be able to borrow those to be able to watch the show from here too as well, which is pretty cool. So we're at the halfway point for Cursed Child, and so you have a 2-hour intermission in between the 2 parts. So we're spending it by investigating Chinatown and looking at all the shops and stuff like that in the area.
We didn't really find anything we wanted to eat in Chinatown, sadly. Nothing really kind of stuck out to us, and that was kind of the theme, unfortunately, of a lot of our London like restaurant experiences. We didn't really see anything that was like, oh my gosh, we gotta try that. Because a lot of the foods, it looked like some of the stuff we would see in the States, but it also looked like some of the stuff we had never heard of before, so we were kind of nervous about what to try and what not to try. If there's anything I kind of regret is I want to go next time with the idea of, okay, I want to go to this place, and this place, and this place, and do some more research on that. But other than that, it was a lot of fun. Like I was mentioning before, where we were sitting was perfectly fine. The only thing that was kind of difficult was the height. When you got up there and you look down, it is a very far drop. And it could be very, concerning for a lot of families and stuff like that too. But great seats. We saw everything that we needed to see during the whole show. To kind of wrap up that night, because again, we are exhausted. We've been up for so long at this point. It was truly an incredible experience with a lot of really fun magic tricks and things like that that were kind of thrown in there. I thought it was really well done to be able to see it visually, and it makes more sense visually, and it was fun. Like by the point that you're in this, you're watching this like 6-hour production, and you are engrossed in the characters. They become no longer actors, they become characters, and it's super cool. I thought it was awesome, and Sierra did too, but we were just really exhausted. So when we got back to Whitechapel, we just crashed, and that was our first day in London, but we had so many fun things planned, and I'm really excited for you guys to see more about it in the next video.